As a baby cinephile, there's a ton of classic films I have never ever seen. Beetlejuice, the one from '88, was one that I recently watched to catch up so I can know what's going on in Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, and I fell in love with that film. It was so imaginative in a dark humor way, and had like a wholesomeness to it I did not expect, and I really loved all the performances and everybody that was involved. It was really funny and fun. So I was excited for Tim Burton to bring back all those characters that I really, really enjoyed. Add Jenna Ortega, who I really, really enjoy in Wednesday and other projects. And he's obviously directed her before. See what kookiness we can get into now. And I came out feeling mixed because the film, while it has a lot of the same charm as the old movie, it's overcrowded and overstuffed with so many things that it kind of falls short a little bit. Let's talk about it. 3 generations of the Deetz family return home to Winter River after an unexpected family tragedy. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life soon gets turned upside down when her rebellious teenage daughter discovers a mysterious portal to the afterlife. When someone says Beetlejuice's name 3 times, the mischievous demon gleefully returns to unleash his brand of mayhem. Let's talk about those 3 generations of Deetz. So Catherine O'Hara, obviously the stepmom from the original film, now here, still kicking around, being that bratty artist. And I loved her in this film. I love Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek, and she brings a little bit of that Moira here, and she is funny in almost every single scene that she's in, because she captures the magic of her character from the first film, but is more modern and also more mature. You can see that the character has grown. She's not as antagonistic as she was before. She's more a part of the family, and the relationships that she has with everyone has grown so much, and I really like seeing that. It makes it feel like 30 years actually have passed. And just from her facial expressions when she's reacting to people saying ridiculous things, one-liners and things that she has to say about this tragedy that has happened to everybody in the family, and just her presence on screen anytime she's talking about art or anything like that is absolutely hilarious. She does a great job with her comedic timing in every scene and almost steals the show. My only issue with the character is one of my big issues with the film is that she has a subplot that's not fleshed out and is, not explored as much as I thought it could be, and it's not done in a most satisfying way when we get to the end of it. And I'm going to be saying that a bunch in this review because that's like what's going on with the overcrowdedness of so many subplots and so many characters. Lydia Deetz, who played by Winona Ryder, one of my favorite characters, or my favorite character in the original Beetlejuice. I was super excited to see where she was coming, from, and where she's at now that she's an adult. And I loved her relationship with Delia and their interactions in the film. But as a character herself, I really like where they started her off, her individual story and what she was doing, what her job was. But they kind of just like trauma dumped on her, and she had dealing with so many things. She was kind of seeing Beetlejuice everywhere, and she had like lost some family members and different things that was going on. But the problem was that all that stuff got thrown away like halfway through the movie. So it felt like they were going to explore something really interesting with the character, something that we've seen in other films. You lose your way, you come back home, you meet people that you haven't seen in a long time, and then you start getting back your old self, that kind of story. But they don't go there at all, and it just kind of she kind of falls to the wayside, which I was hoping wouldn't happen, because I understood the addition of Jenna Ortega, she was going to have to share some of that spotlight, but she was such a great part of the first film. I really wanted her to do great. And on top of that, I felt like Winona Ryder's performance, I don't know if it was just the fact that the character's arc got cut short. She kind of just looked distraught the whole movie, and I'm not even talking about just the character being distraught. I mean, like, as an actor, her acting just felt distraught. She didn't have like a range of emotions, and it didn't feel like the same character that I was watching from the old film, like how Delia felt like the same character but matured. It was just really weird how they executed that, unfortunately, and that left me kind of disappointing. That all her subplots and everything that was going on with her, when I thought she was going to be a main character, was kind of pushed to the wayside. And even though part of it, I think, is because she had to share screen with Jenna Ortega, with her kind of taking the Lydia Deetz spot, I guess you would say, from the old film, Jenna Ortega was a fantastic addition to this franchise. Obviously, she's worked with Tim Burton on Wednesday, and they meshed really well together. And she did a great job of making sure those 2 characters are completely different, and they didn't feel alike at all, even though they're both kind of mean, but just very different ways. And Astrid Deetz, who Jenna Ortega is playing, has a very different issues and problems with the world and mostly her family than what Wednesday has. So I really like the differentiate there, and I really enjoyed her. She was the most grounded character. She was the character that had the most realistic plots and storylines and feelings. She was really great chemistry with all the characters in the film, and I thought that her storyline with this boy that she met in Wind River, I thought that was the most interesting plot in the movie, the most interesting subplot in the film, and unfortunately that gets cut extra short, and the conclusion to it was not as satisfying. I really wish we got a little bit more, and maybe that was more of the focus. But one part of the movie that's not disappointing at all, the one that you come here for, the movie is called Beetlejuice Beetlejuice for a reason. The man, the myth, the legend, the pervy salesman, one of Michael Keaton's most iconic roles. He comes back and plays Beetlejuice, and he has not missed a step. He slipped right back into that pinstripe suit like it was made for him 30 years ago, and he's still fit in it. Obviously, he doesn't look exactly how he looked in the original film. He's older, but they did a really great job of making him look almost exactly like how he looked in that one. And he has such a youthful, fun energy and time in this film that, just like the original, it makes you want to have fun. Yes, he's a terrible person, but he's fun to watch, and Michael Keaton is playing this with so much exuberance. It made me so happy to see. The one-liners are back. He has some iconic lines. He's still a perv, but they toned it down in a way where obviously it fits modern audiences, but it's still there. It's not like they just stripped it away from him. He's gross as he was before, all the stuff that you get from that character from before, and he's slightly matured a little bit, as much as Beetlejuice can mature for that kind of character, which I like to see. And he had a new dynamic that I thought was interesting that I wish they dwelled in a little bit more. But overall, his chaos, his madness, and everything that he brought to the film made this film an absolute blast. He chewed the scenery, and he stole the show every time he was on the screen. And a cast of new characters joined the fray. Justin Theroux plays Lydia Deetz's boyfriend, kind of becoming Ash's stepdad. That was a very confusing situation. Arthur Conti was playing the boy that Ashley was interested in. Willem Dafoe, who gets tons of work. That man is working. He got paid, man. He's in like 17 movies this year. He plays a dead actor who thinks he's a cop. I thought that was amazing. And Monica Bellucci plays the antagonist in this film. And all these actors, they look great. Their characters are very interesting. I love the way they were presented, and they had their really great moments. But just like how it's saying it's overcrowded, there's too many of these characters, right? They all play kind of an antagonistic role in different ways in the film, but it's so separate. Like, they're all attached to somebody in the main cast, but they are so separate that all their plot lines always feel separate, and they never intertwine in an interesting way. Fortunately, the plot points don't come to a satisfying end in a way that I think they could have wrapped it up really well. They all end. Like, there's no plot holes. There's no, like, plot points that didn't get ending. It just wasn't as satisfying as I thought it could be. With all that said, Tim Burton comes back, writes and directs this film, and just like Michael Keaton, he brings a youthful look to the direction. This movie is paced a lot better than the original film. That's one thing I'll give it over the original film. It's moving. It was moving. You don't even have like a lot of time to even think about the plot, like the plot problems. I think for me, since I'm a movie reviewer and I dwelled on the film, obviously I could pick some of those things out. But I think for the general audience, if you're just coming into the theater for a good time, because it is a good time, the movie's funny, it has really good gothic horror comedy, it has some dark humor, it has all the charm and wit from the original film. Here, and maybe even more. Maybe the juice was a little too loose in this one, but you get to sit and have a good time with your favorite characters if you're a fan of the original. If you didn't see the original film, I don't think you're going to understand what's going on. And if you weren't a fan of the original film, this is like doubling down on everything, so I don't think you're going to like this one more. But if you are a fan of the original Beetlejuice, you will really enjoy this film and have a good time in theaters or whenever you get to check it out, because Tim Burton did a great job with action sequences, dance numbers, homages to the old film, but that doesn't feel too shoehorned or too long, and just bringing all these characters to life and giving us another adventure so we could sit with them for 2 hours and have fun. All in all, while I think this movie was too overcrowded with storylines, overstuffed with characters, and didn't have satisfying points for every story plot that was there, I still had a really good time in the movie. I was laughing, I was grinning, I was just having a really great time in the theaters with the crowd. Everyone was having fun. I remember someone walked out of the theater when I was walking out heading towards the exit. Somebody said, I didn't really know what was going on, but I had fun. And that's basically what you're going to hear. You kind of turn your brain off, you jump in there, and you watch it, and you're going to have a really good time. With that said, I'm going to give Beetlejuice Beetlejuice a C+. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you personally rate Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Are you tired of legacy sequels, or because of Top Gun Maverick, Twisters, and now this? Are you like, well, some of them are good? And what is your favorite Tim Burton film? Let me know in the comments down below your answers to all those questions. Like the video if you like my review. Attack that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to notify my reviews, reactions, live discussions, and much, much more. If you watch more content right now.